What's the true population of Jewish people? It's over 500 million for sure. It's, I think it's over 700 million Jews. I think it's over 900 million Jews. I think there's more than 1 billion Jews. That's 1 billion ethnic Caucasians who not only can pass for Jewish, but they do have Jewish heritage in a fraction of, and the reason that they don't declare themselves Jewish is because that would be a Jewish majority. There'd be, people would recognize, hey, there's more Jews than there are Chinese. Yeah, and that's how it is. It looks like there's more Jews than there are Chinese. The Chinese are not 1 billion. There's as many Jews as there are Hindu, or let's say there's as many Jews as there are the population of India. That's how many Jews there are. Or maybe there's more Jews. That's the reality. They don't declare themselves Jewish because the Jews have to portray themselves as a minority. So there's Jews in Turkey, there's Jews in Iran, there's Jews in Latin America, there's Jews in Egypt, there's Jews in Ethiopia, there's Jews in all over the world. There's Jews who are recognized as Jews, but there's also for every one Jew who's recognized as Jewish, there's another 100 that are not recognized, or another 1,000 that are not recognized as Jewish. Well, it's so there's more Jewish people than there are Chinese. There's more Jewish people than there are black Africans. There's more Jewish people than there are white people. Okay, that's real. That's a fact. They don't declare themselves Jewish, or else they would not be able to play the victim. So that's what race mixing is to become Jewish. And the Jews are saying, we're Native American too. Nobody's Native American. That was made up by the Jews. And most of the people claiming to be Native American are more Caucasian than they are Pacific Asian. So it's not really helping the Pacific Asians very much. It's just allowing the Jews to exploit Pacific Asians. So there was never any racial slavery of black Africans. I figured that out, and I'm the only one who proved it. I proved it with a sociological argument, a sociological proof based on gender theory, that women are above racial slavery, women are above institutions of slavery. There's no racial slavery because women are above it. So it's male gender slavery, it's not racial slavery. So I proved it. And now Jewish men such as Emperor Charles are going to say, I'm tough because I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for slavery. Well, there was no slavery, and you didn't know that until I proved it. People were saying, I can't really move on this. I have a little bit of doubt. And I didn't believe it when I was a little kid. I was like, oh, can the blacks really do that to us? Can they really say that about us? No, I'm not going to accept that. But after many decades, I proved that it never happened. I proved it. Paul Gaskin from Summertown, Tennessee. I proved that there was no racial slavery of Africans. And I say it's good for Africans in Africa to get past that fake slavery hoax for their own well-being, their own mental health. There's never been anybody who's a Native American. I figured that out. I think a lot of people already knew that. So anyway, this is about, there's 1 billion Jews, at least. There's 1 billion Jews. There's more Jews than there are Chinese. They just don't announce themselves as Jewish. And any one of them can be activated by the Jewish elite who say, you there, I have a proposition for you to that you can be included in our intelligence activities and our business operations. And I think you're Jewish, aren't you? Don't you think so? And they say, yeah, I think maybe so. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I am Jewish. But they really are ethnically Jewish, and they're waiting to be activated, but there's 1 billion who are like that. And the fact is, you find out who's Jewish if you have a war of Arabs versus Israel. you find out that there's more Jews than there are Arabs. And that's why the Yiddish Jews didn't have to stop bullying the Arabs, is because the Yiddish Jews they outnumber Arabs. They say the Arabs are 400 million or so. Well, more than half of them are Jewish. And, well, yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know if you could say more than half of them, but let's just say count all the Caucasians in the world, all the ethnic non-white Caucasians, and a lot of the white Caucasians too. Bill Clinton's Jewish. Conan O'Brien I call him a nose job Jew. You didn't know they're Jewish because they had a more Arabic-looking nose, or a Roman-looking nose, and then they got a surgery to make their nose straighter, and so you didn't know Bill Clinton was Jewish, but he's Jewish. So anyway, there's 1 billion Jews, and only 20 million of them are declaring themselves Jewish because they have to pretend to be a minority. But if you actually made arrests all around the world, arresting Jewish criminal organized crime gangs, you arrest the men who are Jewish organized criminals all over the world, you would soon find out that the Jewish people are 1 billion. Because if you just had, say, a planet full of people who are not Jewish, who were going to just suppress the criminal activities of the Jewish ethnicity, well, what would happen is all the Jews would unite, and you'd find out a real census of how many there are, and everybody who unites on behalf of the Jews is himself. Usually, if he's an ethnic Caucasian, he's Jewish. Unless he's, like me, obviously not Jewish. But those who look like they could be Jewish, they are Jewish. And there's 1 billion Jews. The Jews are more common than Chinese, and they're pretending to be the most rare minority. So that's all I have to say for now. It's really hard to. It's actually not even possible to do global police action against the Jews because they are more common than the Chinese. Jews are twice as numerous as black Africans. Jews are more numerous than the Chinese. Jews are as numerous as there are people in India. And maybe if you combine India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, that might be closer to the actual number. But they're not all in South Asia. The Jews are maybe 60% of South Asia, possibly. Jews are maybe 60% of Latin America. Jews are maybe 60% of the Arabs, etc. Jews are 60% of Turkey. Jews are 60% of Egypt. Which you don't know, Jews are 60% of Pakistan. Jews are 60% of India. Jews are 60% of Bangladesh. Jews are 60% of Sri Lanka. So that's the true number of Jews, and they're pretending that there are only 20 million so that they can pretend to be the victim. And they can vilify the white race because they don't want to allow the racially white men to cognitively outperform Jews. So that's all for now. It's actually more like Rosa Parks protesting against the Jews. I don't want to compare myself to a woman, but I'm just saying there's going to be no global police action against Jewish organized crime. There's 1 billion Jews, more than 1 billion Jews. They're very common, and they're the most arrogant people because they're the most common. So that's all for now.